In today's video, I'm going to be talking to James. James is a past client of mine who's had a problem with alcohol in the past. He took lots of powerful, courageous action, both in his own life and with the things I shared with him. And he's currently almost 3 years sober and he's absolutely kicking butt. And I thought I'd jump in on here today with him and ask him a few questions so that his experiences can hopefully shed a bit of light on other people who may be struggling and who want to believe that it is possible to get better and that life without alcohol can actually be amazing. So with that said, James, do you want to maybe just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. G'day, guys. I'm James. I'm a farmer on the east coast, New South Wales. I've got quite a large property. We run cattle and horses out here. And I do any number of things on the farm and contract out to other farms as well.
Yeah,
Mm.
nice, brother. Nice. And so I guess a good place for us to start would be maybe if you just tell us a little bit more about your relationship to alcohol and sort of how that was showing up in your life and maybe some of the consequences you were having and sort of,
Sure.
yeah, I guess just what, yeah, like a kind of a snapshot of what your life with alcohol used to be like.
Yeah, right. Well, it's a while ago, but yeah, for sure. Look, I would finish a hard day, often long days on the farm and stuff, and I'd have a few beers to finish the end of the day, almost like a carrot for the donkey. Those those beers turned into a handful more, and it just got worse and worse.
Yeah.
Um, I would drive maybe drunk out in the boondocks out here, and quite often my car would be not where I thought it was, where I parked it. And it was just having a toll on my life, big time, to the point where I was thinking about it in the middle of the day, waiting to get home and have those beers, and it just always sort of escalated. But that's how it was for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that first one or two drinks would trigger a thirst for more, and then you drink more than you wanted, and then you'd be doing things maybe, yeah, like you said, like driving under the influence, which I'm strongly against. That's something I'm super proud of you about. That it's you've made these changes, and you don't do that, and it's something that I respect highly. And I guess another thing is like, how is it also impacting your relationship? Maybe just touch on it. I guess I don't have to go too deep, but with your son, because I know that you know, your son's been a huge part of your motivation for why you've not only stopped drinking, but worked so hard to become the awesome man you are today. And so, how is alcohol stopping you from being the father that you know you wanted to be and who you are today?
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest contributing factors to me turning a leaf and starting a program. I was most of the time considered myself available for him, but I wasn't. I was
Mm.
usually hungover. I was usually thinking about the next time I could sort of change my reality and stuff the quickest way possible. My relationship with his mother, we're separated now, was in tatters. And and just generally my relationships with all of my family members were very challenging for them. I didn't see it, but it was very challenging for them. But yeah, it certainly um, put racing blinkers on me, if you will,
Mm.
to just sort of I don't know, just single focus towards myself and how I could alleviate the angst that I might have had in my heart at the time.
Mm,
Mm.
yeah, and racing blinkers, that's like they put those on horses, right? So they
Correct.
don't see outside of themselves when they're running and they don't get distracted. And so your drinking had you seeing reality a certain way, but maybe your family and friends are experiencing it a different way. And
Mm.
I think, yeah, knowing a bit about your story, once you started to see the impacts that it had on your son and the fact that you weren't being your best self, I think that was a big part of what I feel for your story was a big transformational piece. And that's something I also respect about you as well is that like, it's hard sometimes for us to choose sobriety because we do feel like giving up alcohol, there's this sense of deprivation and loss. But realizing that it's your son or the booze, you're just like, you know what I choose? I choose my fucking son. And I think that's powerful,
100%.
dude. And yeah,
100%.
so that's what it was like. You were drinking out of control. You weren't able to step up and be the man you knew you could be. And you'd tried some stuff before. I know you'd had some success in the past. You'd done some therapy stuff. You definitely did some 12-step stuff and continued for a while. Um, I guess what was it about what I taught and the way I sort of do things that made you decide to sort of work with me and sort of look at the way that we do things that's slightly different? And I'm not here to bag any other way. The 12 steps in therapy, and they're all really good. But I guess, yeah, what was it about my sort of style, particularly that made you want to jump on and
Mm.
and yeah, sort of give it a crack.
That, I can summarize that probably in one word. It's that self-empowerment.
Right.
Yeah, self-empowerment. A lot of the other things, and I'm not bagging them out either because they were a beautiful stepping stone to get me to the position I'm in now as well.
Yeah.
And they also brought me to you and found that situation as well. So I'm very happy about that. But the self-empowerment and the actual taking control of your own crap, actually having the tools that you offer through this, and seeing the work that you're doing, seeing the work that happens in my life, and actually almost like a bird, seeing it sort of pan out in your life for me was look, I'm a farmer, so if I put fertilizer on a tree and it works, I'm not going to read the label. I'm going to keep doing it, and it's one of those things that it worked and it continues to work. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. My son dotes on me now. My family are absolutely proud as punch for me,
Mm.
and my reality is sufficient. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm just at peace now. I've never had that. I didn't even have that before I was drinking. You know,
Mm.
so fantastic.
Oh, awesome. I love that, bro. And so it was, if you were to say like the top one or two things, the tools or the techniques that I shared with you that really helped you, what would you say that one or two things that really sort of shifted things for you? What would they be?
Mm. Um, Look, I'm a real analogy kind of guy. I sort of cut things down because I'm a farmer and I'm probably a simple fella and I'm single focused man. Um, Look, creating neural pathways that circumnavigate maybe roadblocks that you've got in your noggin, and actually realizing that it's possible to do that with that plasticity
Mm.
was a game changer for me. To know that, I mean, when I was drinking was part of my, I guess, personality, and it was part of the persona that I was.
Mm.
I'd have a few beers at the end of the night, or go down to the pub and have a couple of schooners with the boys and stuff like that. And it was really who I was. But knowing that I could actually step away from that and maintain who I was, my strengths and all of that, by actually removing the things that were impeding me from actually working to my full potential and actually being a person I'm meant to be, was
Mm.
just a pillar of strength. And it was on board through the teachings. Like it wasn't like separate, a side note to myself and I have to take it. It was actually through my own doing, and recognizing when those little snippets come up that are usually a pathway to something worse,
Hmm.
and catching them before they get out of control, before they steamroller me. It's been really fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, man. So like, yeah, so the neuroplasticity stuff, the ability to tap into the part of you that already wants to be sober and the identity that is the real you that's already sitting there. Instead of having to, crush who you are and kill the old you and all these things, it's
Yes.
you're awakening the part of you that already wants to quit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and inside of every person that struggles with alcohol addiction and like alcohol problem drinking and things like that, there's normally a part that wants to stop and a part that wants to quit. And if you only focus on the part that wants to stop and you try to like change that part and bully that part, it becomes like so internally frustrating, right? But if you tap
100%.
into the part that already wants to stop and you strengthen and you awaken that identity, then that person becomes the dominant person in that in your experience, and you become more of you
Yeah.
instead of fighting with the part that doesn't want to stop. You just embrace the part that already does, and
That
it's
was the
almost like
big
a
thing.
flower blooming, if that makes
That
sense.
was the
And yeah,
big thing. It was highlighting your attributes and actually not focusing on your faults.
yeah,
You talk a lot about, in a lot of other programs, that powerlessness.
mm,
I feel powerfully going through these steps, and I still get to take that, I guess, that little boy in me that's been struggling to get out.
mm,
He then starts doing push-ups and realizes his strength. That's the whole idea of that plasticity. It has been phenomenal. And the people that I have sort of, I guess, piggybacked off your program and then told a little bit about it, that they're just absolutely blown away. And I'm seeing the results in them as well,
I
just with
love that.
snippets of it. It's that self-empowerment. And I think when you take the power from someone, admitting that you're powerless, quite often that's the only thing holding us together. you know
Mm.
and when you sort of knock that down and say, now you've got to rebuild again, you are rebuilding, but you're doing it with your own self propulsion using this program. It's just For me, there's no other. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, thanks for saying that, dude. And I love it. And I love watching you just come to life, man. There's nothing that is more pleasing than watching someone who felt stuck and powerless. Because it is true that when you're stuck in that addiction, it does feel powerless.
Mm,
And we're binge drinking and then we want to stop.
mm,
And then we don't stop. And it's like this cycle. I'm like, am I a crazy person? Like, what's wrong with me? And
mm,
then someone says, you're powerless. And you're like, that makes the most sense. And it's like in that moment, in that state, we are powerless,
mm, mm,
but there's a part of us that isn't powerless
mm,
and is
mm,
powerful. And if you can learn to awaken those things, and there's a bit of skill involved, and
mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
It
it is
took.
possible. It is possible. And once that light turns on and the soul of the person starts driving the ship, it's like, look out. Cause that enthusiasm and that happiness and that energy for the truth of who they are, it starts driving their life. And
Mm,
you're no longer running away from alcohol. You're running towards who you truly are. It becomes
totally.
like a pulling enthusiasm, and it's awesome. And yeah, I'm really grateful for you to come on and share this and be vulnerable with everyone about this stuff. And I hope that people have got some benefits from this, because you were actually struggling with alcohol quite severely and you currently are living alcohol free, and you feel, from what you've shared with me, you're energetic, your life's good, your relationships are good, like things have changed and you don't feel like you're stuck in a disease.
Mm,
It
mm,
feels like you're getting better. I don't want to put words into your mouth, but these are the things I've observed and through our chats together. And I just want to see you keep just kicking goal after goal, because, like, yeah, the future's bright for you, dude.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. And I appreciate you too, Jordan. I just want to say too, like after getting sober and working this program and working with you, man, I've got all of my dreams and even dreams I didn't know I could have come true. I'm a road crash rescue officer. I've got contracts coming out. I've got good things going on. My family adores me. I'm at peace. Like I
Mm.
actually didn't think that was possible. So I really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, brother.
No, my pleasure, mate. Thank you. And yeah, that road crash stuff, that's personal to me. And the fact that, like, I didn't influence you in that. It's just part of your nature as a giver and a server. And I think I just finish on that, which is a big part of what we do. And we awaken the true us, is that we want to give back. We don't want to play small. We don't want to make it all about me, 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 and all my problems. We want to start giving back to our communities because we're feeling good. And
Mm.
that giving energy and that ability to start making a contribution keeps the light on in a way. So yeah, that's something you did. That wasn't an influence of me, but I respect it so much. And it's awesome. So I guess final question, man, to wrap up. If there's anyone watching this who's sitting on the fence about booking a call to speak to me and maybe looking at some of my programs, what would you say to them?
Oh, don't waste a second of your time on anything. Don't sit there on the fence. It's a beautiful life, and you're the one that has the capacity to change it with these steps. Please, I wasted a good. I wouldn't say wasted, but geez, I was in the mud, for so long. So yeah, if you're thinking about it, even if you're thinking that you're drinking too much or you're thinking that it's becoming a bit of a problem, please do something about it. Please do something about it. The options in this program are simple, straightforward, self-empowering, and just knowing that we just don't have to have it. It doesn't have to become us, and the things we can do after that are just phenomenal. And working with Jordan has been really, really easy, straightforward, and crude and organic, not scripted, not bullshit. It's
Mm,
straightforward, shooting from the hip, and I like that being a farmer.
yeah.
Thanks, mate.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, man, I guess I'll finish by saying, like, each time each one of us that gets sober and we can make the world a slightly sober and safer place, then I feel like I'm living my mission in this world. So thank you
I'm
for
on.
being a part of it, brother. And I'm sure I'll talk to you soon.
Get some.
All right.
Thanks, family.
Cheers. See you, mate.